Hello, and welcome to the Unexpected Detour, where in life detours are inevitable. And how about we navigate them and what defines our journey? I'm your host, Frances Hammond, and today I have the honor of speaking with a woman whose story is nothing short of extraordinary. Her name is Becky Faye Smith Galli, a writer, speaker, mother, powerful voice of resilience, has faced unimaginable losses from the death of her brother and child to the sudden paralysis that changed everything. And yet, though every twist in her path, she has chosen to live by a powerful truth. Life can be good no matter what. She's the author of Rethinking Possible, a memoir that continues to inspire thousands of devoted advocates for families affected by autism through her work and with Pathfinders for Autism. Today we will talk about grief, faith, unexpected strength, and how to find purpose in pain. Rebecca, welcome to the Unexpected Detour. I'm honored to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay. You want to start about telling us about your journey? I know your first journey would have been the losses because they occurred first.
Yes, my first experience with it was my 17-year-old brother's water skiing accident. He was that kid, the one that was president of student council. He was active in church. He was an athlete. He was a musician. He had great plans to go to Wake Forest University, where my parents had gone to school, and becoming a lawyer and get into politics. He had it all mapped out. And he was water skiing and hit a pier and was in a coma for 9 days and
Wow.
died after that. So that was my real experience with tragic loss at age 20. So I think I learned a lot about that unexpectedly became the foundation of learning how to cope with unexpected loss was when we lost my brother Forrest. We I think one of the things I've learned about that has been most helpful is that um, it really shattered our family in a lot of ways. Physically, we were in different places. My dad had just gotten a new job in West Virginia. My mom was in North Carolina with my sister, and I was at college 3 hours away. And not only were we physically apart, but we coped with grief differently. Um, I My father was a minister and very quickly could talk publicly about his grief. My mother was very private and went to various support groups and about with other parents who had lost children. I was at college, so my girlfriends kind of moved me through grief in a structured way because we had things to do, and they knew my brother, but not very well. Um, but they just supported me in the environment I was in. But my sister was just 18 months apart from my brother. And so there was a community loss there that she was in that where everybody missed him. And she actually wanted to be with him, which uh, was alarming to my parents, but they got her the support that she needed. So I think I learned from that there's no one right way to grieve as long as you've got good supports and you're moving through it. And I got to unexpectedly use that again when in different ways. My firstborn son was diagnosed with epilepsy, and then my first second born daughter was diagnosed with autism, and those are different kinds of losses, but you still grieve the life that they didn't have, that you had kind of planned for them.
But how's your daughter doing? Good?
She is. She's doing very well. She's in a group home with a day program that keeps her busy and active in the community. She's not too far away, so I get to see her when I can. She's very active. She's still very limited. She can't read or write or ever be left alone, even though she's had therapy for years to try to foster communications. But I think the most important thing is that she's safe, she's well cared for, and she's out and about. So that's was a real priority for me.
Right. Because I know they used to call autism a different word, but it's not that word. They're autistic. They're
Right.
just special.
Yes. They have their own ways of living, and you just have to accommodate to their world most often.
Yeah, I have a friend who has a daughter. Her daughter is on the spectrum. So all of
Mhm.
this became new to me, the autism and the different levels of it. So from you, I'm learning that there's a different level. So that's why I said, and I have my same friend that has a daughter that's autistic. She has an aunt that's in a group home, but
Mhm.
she's a tattletale too.
Yes.
She
Yes.
tells us everything, everything. Yep. And I remember, not to cut you off, I finished going to visit her, and the visitor came to see his family member. And he was like, she tells us everything. So she's paying attention. So that's when I realized it's like a different level of their learning. They learn differently than we do, but they're still people. So, and we love them. So,
Yes.
yeah.
We like to say if you met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism because they present differently. It is a spectrum disorder for sure.
Yeah, that's why I said, I mean, that's why I said they used to say that they were retarded, slow, stuff like that. They gave them a bad name where people just would make fun of them. But they didn't understand that they were just different. And that's what it was. They're different than us. I'm sure they look at us differently too and say, what's wrong with them? Something's wrong with us. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you go to visit her a lot though, right?
I do. Yep.
And I'm sure she's glad to see you.
She
You're,
she has limited speech, but she knows, mommy lunch with mommy or mommy's coming. And
I was
so
gonna
actually
say
I'm
you take
scheduled.
her out and everything, right?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay, because you go out on your
Yeah,
little lunch dates, have girl time together. Does
we
she tell
do.
you what's
Yeah.
going on too?
Like I said, she has very limited speech. So she has a one-on-one with her at all times. And so I get updated from the one-on-one, and then I can
Oh,
observe, what she's eating and learn about the places that she's going.
oh, okay. Oh, they take her out. You often say life can be good no matter what. What does that mean to you today? In the
Well,
season of your life, in this current season?
well, the thing that I like about that statement is life can be good. It's the word can. It's not life is good no matter what. It's life can be good no matter what. And that word can, I think, implies work. That it has to be a situation where you're striving because you want to see the best in life, but you might have to work extra hard to see it. Um, you mentioned, I've been paralyzed 9 days after my divorce. And it's been 28 years now. I've had to learn to live life from a wheelchair. And at the time,
Oh,
my
okay.
kids were 3, 4, 6, and 9 years old.
Oh,
Poor
you
kids.
have three children.
I have 4. I lost
Oh,
Matthew, my one with
okay.
epilepsy. But yes, 4 children.
And you have your daughter.
And yes, my daughter, I have a daughter that's now 38, and then
Oh,
my son that I lost, and then Madison, my daughter with autism, who's 33, and then my son
oh,
just
okay.
turned 32.
Oh,
So
okay. So you got
yeah,
company, huh?
yes,
Lots of
so
good
I do.
company. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I thought it was just the two. So, okay. All right.
Two with
It's a,
special needs. Hmm.
yeah. But you got the two ones that are okay with special needs too, I'm sure.
Yeah, they all have their unique things. My eldest is she has th 3 beautiful kids, and my youngest just had his first child 18 months ago. So the family's growing, which is
And you're
always a good thing.
enjoying being a grandmother, huh?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. What was a particular moment in your grief when you realized you had to make a choice to either give up or keep living?
There'd been I would say probably the most well, all of them have been life changing, but the virus that I got, the transverse myelitis, was the cause of my paralysis, and it affects 1 in a million. uh, 1/3 recover fully, 1/3 recover partially, and 1/3 don't recover at all. So when I was first paralyzed, I was like, man, I've been divorced. I have 2 special needs children. Maybe I do a break and I will be in that third that recover fully. So I had a lot of hope that I was going to recover fully. But after month and I didn't get any return of function back, I came to the conclusion that I needed to accept my life as it was. I needed to let go of that hope that I would walk again. And I think that was a big moment where I had to embrace reality and either be overwhelmed by it or figure out how to move through it. And I chose, I like what you said in your introduction, you choose how you approach things. You can choose to let things overwhelm you, or you can choose to work hard, work hard to get through whatever's in front of you.
Yeah,
And I like to say that there are 3 things I like to do. I first have to be very honest with myself about my feelings and about my capacity to deal with the situation. If I'm
right,
angry, I need to own that anger and not try to stuff it. If I'm sad, I need to cry and get that out.
right.
Um, and then look around, can I deal with this by myself, or do I need help? Do I need a professional? Do I just need a friend to listen? And I say, who's in your boat to help you get through these
Yeah,
stormy seas? Who can you invite in to support you?
right. And sometimes support is what you need. You don't wanna you don't wanna have a pity party. You just want support. And that's it. Just like listening ear to just hear what you have to say, how you're feeling. I hope you have that support.
I do. I do. I've got wonderful family, wonderful friends, and they have to sometimes be invited, right? You just can't
Right.
assume everybody's going to be there. You have to be honest enough to say, I need some help with this. I'm not doing well. And being honest about that isn't easy sometimes because we don't like to admit
You
that
don't
we're
want to burden
struggling.
other people. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're thinking like they're probably gonna say, here she comes again. I think that's how I felt through my journey. I just stayed to myself because that's how I think I felt. So that's
Yeah,
why I asked you.
you don't want to be a burden or be a whiner or be, the down person all the time. But one of my friends told me when I asked her if she could help me with something, when you ask people for help, you let them use their gifts. I
Right.
thought, wow, that's a great way to look at it.
It is. They're using their gifts, the God-given gifts, you know. Well, you did you go to church and everything, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I was raised in a family of faith. My dad was a minister. My mom was a minister of music at one point in her career, and she decided to stay home and raise the family. But so I was raised in a family of faith, made a
So
profession of
you
faith when I
so
was,
you had your faith to hold on
yeah.
to, and that's why you're still here to tell your story.
I like to say, I made my profession of faith when I was 6 years old, and I've been in relationship with God, but not always on speaking terms because,
Yeah,
you
I can
know,
understand.
you
Guess what?
know,
Sometimes we do get angry with him because we don't understand why. Yeah,
exactly.
that's what it is. We don't understand why. And then you're like, but who am I to question? You know? But it's okay because
Yeah.
we have his attributes, and I'm sure he understands. We're going to ask why. You know, my pastor always says, don't ask why me, why not you? God gives the strongest saints these things, and they make it through it. We get through it, and you have gotten through it. Now, you co-founded the Pathfinders for Autism in honor of your son.
My daughter Madison
Oh,
had autism.
okay.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
has autism. Mhm.
Okay. How was that? Is that good? Is it going good? Is it worldwide? Or?
Yeah. So, when Madison was 5 years old, she was in an autism outreach program, and at that time, that was 1997, when we really didn't have a lot of we didn't have the internet at all, basically, and very few ways to get information. And at that time, we didn't have autism was really misunderstood. Uh, so a parent sent home a flyer with one of Madison's classmates and said, "Come see how Mason is learning how to talk." And I was like, Madison wasn't really verbal at that age, and so we went to listen to this. I'd just been paralyzed maybe 6 weeks, and I thought, well, home was wheelchair accessible. I got some person to take me, caregiver to help me get there, and went with my daughter, who was 9 at the time, and we listened to this program, and we started to use this therapy with Madison, and it started to work. She was able to have some speech. So it was striking to me that I didn't learn about that from her doctor or her teacher, but I learned about it from another parent. And
Right.
so, based on that, a small group of us started meeting together and sharing information about different ways we were managing our children with autism. And that became the foundation for Pathfinders for Autism. We incorporated 3 years later in 2000, and we're celebrating our 25th anniversary
That's
this
awesome.
year.
So is this a thing in the United States, or it's just in your place? It's all
It's
over?
it is it's a it has we have local services, but we have outreach all over the world. We have
Okay.
a very robust website where you can go and explore
I'm gonna
therapies.
add it to the end of the podcast. So if anyone
Oh,
who's listening, they can find that information
that's
because I
great. It's very
noticed
easy. Pathfindersforautism.org.
because I
And you
find
just,
out this autism is becoming something, you know. Sometimes, this, to be honest with you, sometimes I think these kids really do have it, and then sometimes I think the parents they label the kids with this, not knowing what's really wrong with them. You know, they might not have autism, or they might be on the spectrum, but they'll
right.
just say they're autistic. That's why I say I have a friend, and I'm so proud of her that she did all of that with her daughter, that her daughter was able to graduate from college.
That's wonderful.
And she said it was a lot of work and a lot of money, but it was worth it. And now she's getting ready to go to to get her master's degree.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. But you could tell, she's a little offstandish, but she's good, you know,
Mhm.
because I know she thanked her mother and father for going to all the whatever classes you go to, for going them with her to make sure that she's okay. So does your other children go to visit their sister?
Well, we're kind of spread out. My
Oh,
daughter, Madison's in Maryland, and I've got a daughter in North Carolina. My son is in New York, so or the New Jersey area. So it's we get together when we can.
oh, okay. So you're really down there by yourself.
Yes,
Do you have somebody that helps you though?
I do. I do. A lot
Okay.
of friends and people check in on me and have somebody making sure I'm doing all right health wise. So I've got a good
Oh, okay.
support system.
Okay. Just being concerned. Yeah. What advice would you give to other mothers raising children with special needs, especially when they're also facing their own personal struggles? So you have your daughter with special needs and you have your own struggles. You have any advice that you would give to mothers?
I think it goes back to who's in your boat in terms of your support system. So, and then once you have that structure of people that support you, I think you really have to be patient with yourself as you're going through the process, realizing that you're not going to have all the answers at once. I sometimes think that I've had to develop especially with the autism diagnosis for my daughter, some large shock absorbers because you just never know what's next when it comes to their development or their needs. Madison would be pretty stable for a few years, and then when she got into her teenage years, the hormones kind of kicked in. And so we had some behavior challenges that we didn't have before. And sometimes caregivers switch out and you have some more challenges with that, or laws change and you have some more challenges with that. So, a big set of shock absorbers to try to get you through and try to stay steady with your support system, your patience for yourself, and your shock absorbers.
But you had it hard because you had Madison and then you had the other two children and then you were dealing with your own issue. So that must have been pretty difficult for you, but you handled
It,
it.
I did, and I must say, my ex-husband has always been supportive of me and of the children, and we've managed to keep a very good relationship through the years. It's something you have to work at, but I'm very proud of that and very glad I did. I think it's benefited everybody.
Oh, okay. Does he go see Madison?
He does. He does
Oh,
when he
okay.
can. He too is out of town. So
Oh,
he's in Florida. So it's I have a scattered
everybody is
family, but
scattered around. Okay. But when he's
mhm,
up here, he does go and visit her, right?
when he can.
Oh, okay. So as long as she knows that that's her dad.
Yes, she does.
Oh, okay. And that, well, she already knows mom is mom because mom is right there. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. All right, that's good. So being a minister's daughter, it paid off for you, huh?
It has. Yes, they were watching them go through the loss of their son. I think showed me a lot about coping with hard things. And I really learned a lot from the way that they moved through grief and kept moving and kept being positive, very positive people. And I didn't realize how fortunate I was to have parents like that because not everybody does.
Right. Because I'm sure that for them, losing their son was really hard. So
Yes.
it was just the two of you?
Um, my I have a sister
Oh, okay.
that's younger. My brother Forrest was in the middle, so my younger sister Rachel. She and I are still very close. We're 4 years apart. She's in
She lives
Florida.
out there.
Excuse me?
She lives near you, or she's far too.
No, she's in Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you got some place to visit.
I know, right?
You come to New York, well, Jersey. You could go to Maryland, and you can go to Florida. So you have places to visit. Isn't that awesome? Your memoir, Rethinking Possible, has helped so many. What inspired you to share such a vulnerable part of your story with the world?
Well, I've had, I like to say, life can be good no matter what, but I've had a lot of what. There's just been a lot of challenges in my life. And when I wrote the memoir, it was like I need to get it all in one place because it's when you look at all the challenges, I really wanted to write the story of it. And the title wasn't mine, it was my publisher's. And she said, when she said Rethinking Possible, I scratched my head and then I thought, that's what going through life is all about as you get these challenges to rethink what's still possible, which
Right,
requires you to kind of accept what's happened and still look at it as filled with possibilities kind of within those limits. I'm paralyzed, but I can still write. I'm paralyzed, but I can still have people help me get to where I need to go. So I think that rethinking possible is this kind of a resilience mindset of accepting what happens, rethinking what's possible, and then acting on it.
okay, all right. What I know you had a lot of detours. Which detour, let's say, we learned from a lot of different detours, but which detour impacted you the most where you became resilient about yourself and that life is worth giving, is not worth giving up on, nothing.
Um, I think the hardest loss was my brother because
Okay.
at age 20, you don't really know that much about loss, or at least I didn't. Uh, the most life altering loss would have to be my paralysis and just the continual limitations it has presented me with, whether it be modifying my home or restricting how I could see my son play soccer or the kind of travel that I can do easily. So it's had the most far-reaching implications has just been the loss of walking, that ability to walk. Um,
But you could still write though, right?
I can still write, and that that little one of my tricks when I on the tip of a pity pit is these words, even though whatever challenge I have, I can still to take whatever that challenge is, even though I can still, and kind of use that formula on it to figure out what within that circumstance I can still do. And I have to use that more than I like, but at least it's a tool to try to
Yeah,
keep moving forward.
it is a tool. Yeah. If someone was listening today and they feel stuck, lost, or broken, what's one message that you would share with them?
I think it's important to keep moving, to recognize the good things, even if they're small. Um, Sometimes, again, if I'm stuck, I will look at today and look at the day before and say, okay, today might not be the best day, but how is today just better, just a little bit better? What's one thing that's better than yesterday? And it could be getting the trash out on time. It could be waking up without the alarm going off. It could be, drinking an extra cup of water than I did the day before. But the sense of better can kind of push you in a positive direction.
That's good. That's good because a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand. You gotta motivate yourself to do things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have to look for it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
not gonna
often it,
find you. No. You
yep.
really do have to look for it to like get yourself together and do what you have to do. Hold on, Rachel. I mean Rebecca. Okay. Somebody was trying to get in here and I wouldn't let them in. Sorry. Nope. Okay. All right. We can continue. All right. He'll get the thing after. Okay. We can finish. I was looking at something. Sorry. You still there?
I wasn't
Okay.
sure if we were talking
Yeah, I
to,
know. I was looking at something that popped up on the screen, so I removed it. That was
okay.
it. I'll tell you when we finish. So, but anything else? Any other good advice you would like to offer anybody, or you know, tell us where we can find your book? Is that the only place where your book is available through Amazon, or is it in Barnes and Nobles?
Both books, Rethinking Possible and Morning Fuel, which I wrote last year, was published
Okay.
last year. That's the book that's a little daily reading to kind of inspire, encourage, or make you think.
Okay.
And they're available wherever books are sold. You can get them on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, your independent bookseller. It's easily found. Both of them are.
Okay. Both
And I
books.
guess, excuse
Because
me?
I like Barnes and Nobles, so I'll be there.
Yes, yes.
That's my favorite
Uh,
place to go. I don't know why. I like that bookstore because you can go
yeah,
there and just read the books and it's just relaxing. I think I get lost in the world of the books because you don't know where to go, which direction to go. You just feel a peace because you're in this room with all these books. Yeah. So that's always been one of my places to go, Barnes and Nobles. I would go
I
there.
enjoy that too.
Yeah, I would go there after work and just go sit and go look at all the different books in there. And you can't buy them all,
Right.
but you can start reading some. You can start looking and skimming through the pages. So I think that's why I get a big thing out of Barnes and Nobles. But it was a pleasure speaking with you. And we have to
The same
connect
here.
again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
I
I
gave,
would like to stay in touch.
no, you can stay in touch. I answer emails all
Okay,
the time. Yeah, all the time. I answer.
great.
But thank you, Rebecca, for sharing your awesome story with us. And I look forward to speaking with you in the near future about you being the number one bookseller out there.
Well,
Mhm.
thank
From
you very
my
much.
lips to God's ears, okay? Because
I
that's where this is
appreciate that.
gonna go. Yes, you're gonna be a number one bookseller, and I'll be keeping Madison in my prayers, and you in my prayers, and your whole family. So when do you get to see your grandchildren, the three little ones? They're close by.
I'll see everybody. Everybody's coming this way on Labor Day, so I'm very
Oh,
excited about that.
oh,
So,
is Madison
so
gonna come home for that day?
she will be around. I'm not sure if we'll bring her there, if we'll go visit her, but we will
Oh,
arrange
oh,
something.
so she could
We
see
have to,
her little nieces and nephews.
yeah.
That'll make her feel good. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was nice to speak with you. And like I said, we'll be in touch.
All right, sounds great.
All
And
right.
I've got your email here. I'm going to email you right now, make sure I got it correctly, and then
Okay.
I'll look forward to whatever's next.
Okay. And this is Frances Hammond, Unexpected Detour, signing out until the next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.